Titleist GTS Fairways are out. We are here at TPI in Oceanside, California. I'm with Joey Sawitz. He is going to run us through how GTS Fairways work, all the adjustability, and we are going to blend them with hybrid and driving irons to help you understand all the different flights and use cases at the top end of your bag. Let's jump into it.
The club that goes above the 4-iron utility that you play, and let's say a traditional 3-wood, right? Yes. That starts to spark the conversation of, do I go hybrid? Do I go 7-wood? Do I go 5-wood? Honestly, it really doesn't matter which one of those models it ends up being. What matters is the objective. So you have to kind of figure out how far you need it to travel.
Yep.
Is it a scoring club? Which means, are you trying to leave yourself a putt hitting it into a green? Because if that is the case, you need to be super cognizant of how high you hit it and the land angle that you create with it. And a good analogy is like if you're hitting it into an island green, what would you expect that ball to do to hold that green? You need height, you need land angle. So the carry distance based on that, we'll round and maybe meet in the middle, 224 iron. Does 240 sound too high? Do you like a 235 number? What is that?
Yeah, I think it's about, I think you're right. 240 is what I'm looking for. My 3-wood is about 270 carry, maybe 265.
Okay.
And
240 would make sense.
This is a genuine, like, weird thing that goes on in my bag. I have a good 4-iron, I've got a really long 3-wood, and I don't really know what I want and what I want to do with it.
So I think we need to approach this, and again, it's always relative to the player. I say that a ton, but it's hard not to, because it really is dependent on what you need and your skill level and what you can actually create versatility-wise with your own technique. So I think if we approach this with finding you a 240 number with 245 potential and 235 play.
Yes.
Something that gives us a stock base and 10 yards that you can, just use your own discretionary, want on how you want to hit that shot. So what I brought us is a 505 3-iron, so not dissimilar to what you would play in the 4-iron.
Yep.
Let's see how far that goes for a second. I want to see you hit that off the ground.
Okay.
Because remember, this club is a scoring club, so off the tee, it's going to have its own job and purpose there, but if it doesn't do what you want it to do off the ground, I really don't think it should be in your bag.
This is the area I would focus on, and I think a lot of people struggle
sure.
at home. Like, what do I do? What do the clubs that we're talking about do? What are they designed to do?
Right.
And how do they make a better or a more informed decision by the end of this video?
So we're looking for a 240 carry number. We're looking for something that's over 100 feet and gives us good stopping power. That's our main criteria.
I like that.
Okay, not bad. Little thin on the contact, but decent.
Yeah,
I would say.
I'll be interested to see how far that one goes. You're right, little heely, little thin.
223.
Okay.
That makes sense to me because it spun a little bit more because of the strike.
But it wasn't particularly low, which is interesting.
92 feet.
Yeah, didn't feel bad. Oh, I necked it a little.
Not bad though.
No.
Because I want to see this, because this very well could be where a club like this shines more for you.
Yeah.
But it's more course specific, where maybe, and this is something that I think consumers need to ask themselves. If we objectified the yardage, for you it was 240. So hypothetically, you could ask this to any consumer and say, hey, do you even need a club that carries 240? Do you ever see that number on any course that you ever play?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many people might actually stop and think and go, you know what? No, I don't. So it's really, you're doing yourself a disservice to actually have a club that does that. So you have to ask yourself these questions, and I think it really helps set the tone for what that tool needs to be. So for you, this could be a club that you throw in for off-the-tee purposes on courses where 240 doesn't really ever come into play.
Right, and I feel right now, for me, I feel like my 4-iron is good, like safe pullback yardage. I feel like me personally, I might be missing that par 5 in 2 number with a bit more stopping power. A little higher flight to carry something at that longer yardage. That's the club that's kind of missing.
That's what you want.
There you go. I mean, that's reasonable. Drawing.
Yeah, 231 carry. Again, paying attention to height, that's only 77 feet. So again, from a scoring perspective, not ideal.
Yeah.
Off the tee, you're not trying to score, you're trying to keep this in play. Accuracy has precedent. Total distance, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you start throwing in the word versatility with a club like this, for the job you need it to do, there's probably a better option.
So we're looking at this as, like this for me specifically, more of a T-ball, more controlled, more nudge it into play, you know what it does, but I'm not going to get that stopping power, necessarily the carry that I want, the flight that I'm looking for.
Yeah. Now, I think something important to notate on this, so far from what I can see with irons, you're not afraid to actually get at impact, hands leading, de-lofting the club that I've seen with an iron.
Yep.
A player that's going to really benefit from a club like this to be able to hit it off the ground and go nice and high, a little bit more easily, is maybe a player that doesn't do that quite as much.
Okay.
And that's really where these clubs can shine. They have a low CG, so for a lot of players, maybe just not you in this moment, this club does go pretty high and it can kind of hit those numbers in that height that they want. This is the next size up. So this is what a hybrid would be.
Yep.
And again, through this trial, we're still paying attention to the height and the carry. And if for whatever reason this doesn't check those boxes, that's where something like a 5 wood or a 7 wood comes into play.
Okay.
It's not rocket science. It's just following the cookie trail on what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I feel like you're saying all the right things, giving everyone back at home the little golden nuggets to really question themselves, question the game they're playing, question the yardage they're trying to fill.
Yes.
To make the right decision. These are all great products, but what are they great for?
That's why we offer so many.
Yes.
Everybody's different.
So we got the GT2 here, the three version of it, which is 18 degrees. We've got 5 grams in the heel, 11 in the toe, and we got a Tensei 1K Black 95 stiff in it. Looking down it, looking at a hybrid gives me a little more confidence, right? A little more real estate on the ground behind the golf ball.
Nice.
It's makes me feel like I'm going to hit it higher, and I've got some room to swing it. Whoa.
Okay, I know that one fell a little to the right, but right out of the gates, it's already a faster ball speed.
Yeah. Height, I think starting height looked great to me.
It's 106 feet, which should ring a bell for you. It's almost 239 carry, which is right around our 240 number.
Yeah.
So something like this is already going to make more sense for you.
Yes.
Because of the job that you tied to it. And that's common. If you're trying to hit something that comes off with more punch and something that comes off a lot higher without you having to work for it, make the head bigger.
Yeah.
That's unbelievably common, especially with the presence of loft.
Get the CG low, far back in the club. Hybrids feel awesome. I know a lot of people are afraid of hybrids, maybe because what they first experienced when they came out. So much tech in hybrids these days.
Absolutely,
they're so much more friendly. I really love seeing that kind of flight, that height, that it feels so sweet off the face, more confidence.
It drew and you turned it over, so I know you're happy.
And I'm sure that was somewhere near 100 feet.
238 carry, by the way.
Nice. There you go. So this really is the number for me to hit that 240 mark.
Yeah. So this is where it gets nuanced, because you're about to hit 2 clubs that have identical loft. This had 18 degrees, that has 18 degrees. This is just an 18-degree hybrid. That's an 18-degree fairway metal. It just depends on what we're trying to do. So the goal for this would be, we still want to hit it high. We still want to hit it 240. But if this seemingly makes it more repeatable and it feels like you don't have to work for it at all, then guess what you should be playing?
Right.
A 5 wood.
Yep.
Now, sorry to cut you off there. Hypothetically, if this goes too far, let's say it's 250 carry because it's bigger, 7 wood.
7 wood.
Right? That's where that conversation happens. When someone comes to the table and says, do I play a 5 wood or a 7 wood? What do I do? It's relative to the job of what you're even trying to get that club to do.
And the loft of the 3-iron was different again. So
correct.
All different lofts, all different body packages. And now obviously we're really, we're excited about the launch of GTS. So if you've got a second just to talk about what GTS is bringing to this family now.
Yeah, I mean, it's still very much a way for us to incorporate something that feels really easy to launch the ball very high, and not necessarily something that's going to overly spin the ball to acquire that height, which I think is very well adopted by high lofted fairway metal players. They're usually a little bit more off-putting if you put something in someone's hands that just spins the ball like crazy and they see it rising and get real floaty. That's usually a negative terminology to that.
Yeah.
So we're not nearly seeing as much of that with what GTS brings to the table.
Okay. We've got the movable weight technology, just like the GT Hybrid, the flat weights in the bottom, 5 wood, and obviously this year, the big deal for visuals is the face. You know, looking down and seeing that face there.
Yeah, so there's a little tidbit on that I can share with you. That's a blaringly obvious one, that you're looking down at what's now a silver face instead of something black. A big reason for that, if we're looking at the feedback that we got on tour, when you give somebody, a player, the contrast of black head, silver face, it gives the aesthetic that there is in fact more loft that you're looking at, which can kind of be a sneaky way to give somebody less loft because it appears that there's more of it.
Yeah.
Right? And when there's typically more loft on a fairway metal, in a lot of players, not just the best in the world, right? I'm not comparing consumers to the best in the world necessarily, but when you're looking down at more face, it really feels like it gives you the sensation that you can get down and cover it. You can really start to de-loft that club and hit it more like an iron. And that's what you want to do with a fairway metal. That's how they're designed.
Trap it to get that strike perfect on the face.
Yeah, and you can do that without having to feel like you have to close the face from the start to trap it, you know?
This is the GTS2 18 degrees A1. We got the Ventus Velocore Blue Plus 7X. It does look great. Actually reminds me of the old days. I used to play a Titleist Fairway Wood. I don't even know what model it was now, but looking down with the black and the silver face.
Maybe 909?
Maybe 909. Yeah, oh, it was 909.
Yeah.
It definitely was 909.
yeah.
And I love the two, you know. This looks like really easy to I know we talked about trapping it, but get it off the turf. This looks appealing to me.
Yeah, just get down after it like an iron.
I thinned that a little, but
still got up.
Got the height for sure.
That one probably is going to spin a little bit,
Yeah.
but we know why. You just hit it a little thin.
And it was still 230 with a miss hit for me.
Yeah.
So if I look at my miss hit with the driving iron, nowhere near that. Miss hit with the hybrid, not so bad. But this gives you more bang for your buck even on the bad stuff.
Keep in mind too, this is neutrally set.
Okay.
It's not closed. It's not upright. None of that.
Yep.
Which I always can if we want to refine it.
Oh man, that thing feels so good. That was a different flight. The first one where it heeled it, spun up, that one just launched and popped there.
Yeah, it was a much more penetrating flight. 234 carry, 100 feet. That's pretty solid.
It's right on the number.
And also keeping in mind too, we're at the tail end of this session. You're a lot of swings in at this point.
Yeah.
You're more swings in than you would be on a golf course, right? Like,
I don't know.
minus putts.
And what I find really interesting there is the back end of this golf shot. 44-degree land angle. With a driving iron, we're certainly not going to get there all the time. With a hybrid, maybe a little more. This really kind of cements that. I feel confident of landing this thing on a green at 44 degrees. It's going to settle down quick.
That's if that's a scoring golf club that you have in your bag, which 5 woods typically fall under that category, you need that land angle to stop the ball.
Yeah, and I haven't had a 5 wood, but this looks like it's filling a nice number. And it looks so appealing on the ground, honestly. The silver face and the feel of it, it's hard to explain, and feel is sound, and it's so sweet when you hit it well.
Yeah.
Good bad one.
It's a good miss.
High draw. Interested to see that. Probably not going to travel as far, but...
Can I see that real quick? Because again, this is outside of just showcasing the product and this whole conversation around the long game fitting portion. Let me try and refine this a second and take a page out of our driver fitting.
Yeah, okay.
So we're going to go into something that's a little bit heavier feeling, a little bit more substantial feeling. So we're going to go to the black.
Yeah.
And we're going to go into 7 wood length,
Love it.
on a 5 wood head.
So if any of you watch the channel, Joey and I went through a driver fitting here earlier today. Head over to that video, watch the in-depth GTS driver fitting with me and Joey. We dialed in my GTS 3 driver. We made it shorter. We made the setting more upright. We gave me more loft. So Joey's applying those tactics right now with the brand new GTS 2 fairway wood to get the most out of it for my game.
So something outside of what I was mentioning about just the new technology in GTS fairways, this now comes with dual weighting across both models. So it's going to come with a toe and a heel weight. Nominally, it's going to be a little bit heavier in the heel. That's just the design of the head, just to get everything back to more of a neutral CG placement. That first one that I had you try right out of the gates was actually heavier on the toe.
Okay.
So it was 11 toe, 5 heel. I've now got them back to a neutral setting.
Okay. We've got the shorter shaft. We've now
Shorter
got...
shaft. Yeah, I'm changing a few more variables at a time, just because I feel like it's going to be a good one that you're going to like.
What's B2 on the in the SureFit?
That is 3/4 of a degree upright.
Okay. Same loft.
Same loft, keeping the same loft, just affecting lie.
I really love the shorter feeling. I feel like my chest is getting on top of it. I feel like I'm looking down on it rather than like way away from me. It's a really nice setup feel. A control feel, I guess is what it is. Oh my life, that is so good. That was good.
Isn't that funny how that works out? That's your fastest ball speed. I didn't change loft, I didn't change the head. We've just gone into, again, a page out of the driver fitting.
Yeah.
Heavier, shorter, more efficient.
I just felt good. I felt good over it. Like I postured up and I'm like, this thing feels right.
Look what that carried.
246 carry, still landing at 44 degrees, 107. Let's call it 106 just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Peak height. You're the man. That was, that just shows you how the fitting is transferable too. We all have attributes. We're all trying to dial into our own specific game. You need to go and learn about your game. You need to go and find what works for you in every single area. Today was an interesting one with the long game. We dialed into not just what fits me right, but what part of the bag do I try and attack? What club does the best job for me? Titleist have so many options that you don't want to just walk in and buy something thinking it's going to work. Get educated and get fit for it. That was a really, really awesome job, Joey. Thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure.
Great stuff, mate.
Absolutely.
So for me, to hit my 240 yards with the control that I want in the scenario that I need, the GTS 2 with the 11 gram in the heel, the 5 in the toe, it's a 5-wood at 18 degrees, set to B2, a little more upright. Joey shortened the shaft down to about 1/2 inch under standard, and he bumped up the weight and the flex in it to make it more controlled, make it do what I need to do. Make sure you find the correct club for your long game. It may be a GTS 2, it may be a GT Hybrid, it may be a U505 Driving Iron. You need to go and get with a fitter to find out. Book your fitting for GTS products at Worldwide Golf retail location near you or worldwidegolf.com today.